Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. It's time for another 2017 NFL Draft Scouting Report. And today we're talking about defensive tackle Jonathan Allen out of Alabama, or as some call him, Whoop Allen out of Alabama. This guy's a beast. We're going to talk about him today. Defensive tackle, 6'3", 286 pounds. And, for the size of a defensive tackle, this is about average. Oh, at least for 4'3", let's say 4'3" technique. For a pass rushing defensive tackle, it's about average. Maybe a little below average, but I'm fine with it. We look at his 2016 stats: 69 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 10.5 sacks, no shortage of production there from Jonathan Allen. 40-yard dash time, 5.0. And personally, I was a little disappointed by this. I'm not too surprised. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to have to chase down running backs from behind. But this was a slightly disappointing 40-yard dash time for me. Look at his strengths, okay? He's strong against the run and the pass. I mean, this is a guy that's very sound against the run, can recognize run plays, very strong in terms of holding that offensive lineman, then disengaging when the running back is about to go past him, and be able to bring him down for either tackles for loss or just, short yardage gain. And against the pass, great pass rushing skills right now, great hand usage, man. This guy knows how to use his hands, how to get offensive linemen off balance. And I'm telling you, in the trenches, hand usage is so important, so key. And this is my problem right now with Myles Garrett as a prospect, although I do think he is better than Allen as a prospect. But Allen is just superior when it comes to hand usage. His hand usage is great. He knows how to use his leverage, use his hands to win consistently against offensive linemen. He has great effort, being a big guy. Some of these guys don't have great effort. See Robert Nkemdiche last year. See Malik McDowell this year. Jonathan Allen does not have that problem. He has great effort. And then again, he has good instincts. I mean, the guy usually knows what's going on the football field, usually does not get fooled. He has good instincts. Look at his weaknesses, though. He's not a very good athlete at all. And I was going back and I was comparing the best defensive tackles in the NFL today. Guys like Aaron Donald and other 3-4 defensive ends like J.J. Watt and whatnot. Guys that will be similar to what Jonathan Allen will be at the next level. Fletcher Cox as well, and some other guys like even Ndamukong Suh, who was a nose tackle. I was even going back and comparing his combine stats to Jonathan Allen, and he did not compare well with guys at all. Now, there was some that he compared well to, and I compared him to those guys. We'll get into that in a second. But it does concern me because when I do look at the best defensive tackles in the NFL, they all were very good athletes at the combine. And it allows you to be able to win some matchups in the NFL that are very tough to win. Because if you're going up against Zach Martin or Kevin Zeitler or, these great centers inside, or Travis Frederick, a great center or guard in the inside, I'm telling you, having that extra athleticism onto your mold, I mean, it just helps you be able to win some of these battles that you just can't sometimes win with your hand usage, because those guys are very good too. I mean, Kevin Zeitler, offensive guard now for the Cleveland Browns, this guy has great hand usage too. So you're going to get into a hell of a hand usage battle, but because you have to make up yardage and he just has to stand ground, it's going to be hard to win. How do you win? You get some extra strength behind you, you get some extra explosiveness behind you, and then you're able to push him and then push him into your quarterback and then get past him or whatever. So having that athleticism matters. Now, to what extent, that is debatable, but I like to have that athleticism. And I mean also strength too, because he's not very strong. I want to say at the combine, let me pull up the numbers right now, only had 21 bench press reps, which was pretty disappointing for a defensive tackle. So he's going to have problems trying to push around a Kevin Zeitler or a Travis Frederick or Zach Martin, these great offensive guards and offensive centers in the NFL without great explosiveness or great strength. And then again, he's struggling against some bigger and stronger offensive linemen in college. So this is my biggest problem. This is my only problem with Jonathan Allen. Now, there is another problem also. Actually, I forgot. He has some shoulder arthritis. Okay, so there's been rumors, and they've pretty much been confirmed because he's been talking about it, that there's some arthritis with his shoulders, and he could only play in the NFL for possibly like 10 years or something like that. Now, I'm not sure. I don't have the medical reports. I can't tell you if what he said is true. Let's assume it's true. If he gets 10 years out, I think you're pretty happy with that, okay? First of all, he has to be good enough for the first 4 or 5 years to re-sign him to a second deal, and then after that second deal, he'd be done, and that'd be good if he's a good player, right? I think he'd be fine with that. So if that's true, I'm okay with it. But I don't have the medical reports for myself. NFL teams have that, so they have that decision to make. So I really didn't want to include it in my weaknesses. I didn't really want to talk about it too much. So when we look at a pro comparison, I compare him to Gerald McCoy and Sheldon Richardson. Guys of a similar size, guys of a similar athleticism, and guys that are good. Okay, Gerald McCoy and Sheldon Richardson are good NFL defensive linemen. They've been good for years. However, I don't think anyone will contend that McCoy or Richardson are the best defensive tackle in the NFL or that they've ever been, but they've been consistently good. They've been Pro Bowl level. They've been very good, no problems. I mean, sometimes they have a down year. Like, I want to say this year, McCoy did not have his best year, and kind of same goes for Richardson as well. So you have to temper your expectations a little bit for Jonathan Allen. To me, he's going to be very good, but I think his limited strength and explosiveness will limit his overall production at the next level. So we move on to his best fits. Now look at the Chicago Bears, okay? And right now, the Bears, they drafted Jonathan Bullard last year out of Florida, who they want to become like their next starting defensive end. But man, forget Jonathan Bullard. Jonathan Allen is here now. He's a better player than Bullard, way better. You could put Jonathan Allen opposite of Akeem Hicks, and now you have something on that Bears defensive front that can really start to assemble nicely. I look at the Tennessee Titans, and this is not a perfect fit, I will give you that, because the Titans are in need of a 5 technique defensive tackle, or a defensive end, I should say, 3-4 defensive end. And Allen projects more as a 3 technique, and he plays very similar to Gerald Casey. However, Jonathan Allen's going to be freaking good, man. And if he's available, you got to take him. And you got to figure it out. You got to put him and Casey on the same defensive line and let them eat, okay? Now, you'll probably have to compensate by getting a guy either a nose tackle or just a bigger defensive tackle in there, putting this guy in the middle. Right now they have Sylvester Williams and some other guys that play nose tackle, but really getting a big guy to overcompensate for Allen and Casey not being very long. So they have to find like a long defensive lineman as well. But man, to me, if you pass on Jonathan Allen because you're afraid, because you have another 3 technique, you're making a huge mistake that you will regret. I look at the San Diego Chargers, who have been looking for a guy like this for a while. Man, if you put Jonathan Allen on the same team as Joey Bosa, on the same team as Melvin Ingram, man, the Chargers are coming. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, who they also need a big-time defensive tackle. They've been looking for one to put next to Geno Atkins. And again, I understand that Allen and Atkins are similar in that they're mainly pass rushing tackles. But if you're passing on Allen because you already have a pass rushing tackle, you're making a huge mistake. We move on to the prospect grade, and it's a 91. He's a great prospect. And he's probably going to be a Pro Bowler at the next level, top 5 to 8 at his position. Again, though, before saying I would take him number 1 or number 2 overall, I can't go there, right? I just don't see him being Aaron Donald. I just don't see him being J.J. Watt. I just don't see him being Ndamukong Suh, being by far and away one of the best, like by far, defensive tackles in the NFL. But I think he's going to be very good, okay? I think he's going to be Gerald Casey, Gerald McCoy, Sheldon Richardson level type guy. He won't quite be Fletcher Cox, won't quite be Aaron Donald, won't quite be Calais Campbell, won't quite be Kawan Short, but he'll be just a level below it to me. So to conclude, with solid defensive skills all around, Jonathan Allen will be a really good NFL player, but his lack of elite athleticism and strength could limit his upside. The guy knows how to win despite his lack of strength and athleticism, but in the NFL, when he's going up against Kevin Zeitler and Zach Martin and these just top offensive guards and offensive centers, I do see some problems for Mr. Jonathan Allen, but again, I think he's very good. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Jonathan Allen, the defensive tackle out of Alabama. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. This has been the 2017 NFL Draft Scouting Report on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.